morning, Jerry.
Good morning. Okay, let's get started. It is 9 a.m. Monday, March the 8th, 2021. Wilson County Commissioners Court is now in session with our opening prayer by Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Martin.
Will you bow your heads and pray with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day where we can come together in your world and do the business that you've directed us to do as Commissioners Court in Wilson County. Lord, just bless us as we make decisions today, that they be in the best interest of the citizens of this county and that it's in accordance with your will. Lord, we know that there are many out there today that are suffering, recovering from the disaster. Lord, we just ask that you reach out to them and comfort them and let them know that you're there standing behind them. And Lord, we just thank you for everything that you provided to us. We bless your holy name, and it's in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Okay, and for the record, Commissioner Precinct 4, Larry Wiley is absent. Okay, moving right along to agenda item number 3, public comments.
We have none at this time, Judge.
Okay, agenda item number 4, certificates of completion and awards. Okay, certificate of completion, Gail Ritchie has successfully completed TAC Cybersecurity Awareness Training 2021, certified this March the 1st, 2021. Is there anything else?
That is it, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and agenda item number 5, extension activity reports, handouts. Okay. We've got them from Nicole Dimmer and Courtney White, and soon we'll have another one, will be from Samantha Shannon. She started the first. Anybody have any comments or questions on the activity reports? Then moving right along to agenda item number 6, Richard L. Jackson County Judge discussing possible action on installation of a digital sign for the Wilson County Expo Center. Okay, Brenda, got information.
So, we have 2 proposals for your review. One is from Eagleford Signs and Lighting, and the other one is from Budget Signs. They both quoted the digital sign out at the Expo Center. There's about a $10,000 difference between the 2, and so I wanted to bring it to court for you to make the decision. Warranties and all specs are very much in line with each other. So it's comparing apples to apples for my interpretation. So I just wanted you to look at the 2 and decide how to move forward. This is money that was budgeted in the budget.
This was budgeted, this year's budget.
I just don't know the amount of time it takes and all that. So I wanted to get started on it as we move forward toward the spring, summer timeframe.
Do we know if the budget signs includes the footing and the required design for the footing and the electrical work? That's a big difference. I see that now.
There's electrical near there because of that. Is that right, Paul? Yes. And I don't know how much electrical they need, but it's probably just 110. I don't know if they're gonna need anything bigger than that. They may need 220 or they may need more than one circuit, I don't know. But if it runs from that little cinder block sign that's there now, back to the, whatever the power system is, they can probably, maybe be able to pull another line through that.
Yeah, I guess my only point is that on Eagle Board signs, that you required to shut off breaker at the base of the sign pole as required by the National Electric Code. And I don't see any electrical, it's not detailed in budget signs, remember? And also the same thing for number 1, the structural. If they're gonna design the drill shaft to put the sign on. And if that's all included in budget signs, good, but I kind of would like to know that before I take any action on this. If they include those 2 items. Because that could certainly be the difference in the bids.
So, Commissioner Martin, for on the structural part where it says drilled shaft excavation, is that the same as the exception in budget signs?
The budget was saying.
Well, it says does not include excavation in concrete. I don't know if those two mean the
Well,
same thing or not.
No, those don't. But they have a detailed what standards they're going to design the sign to. That just means that they hit concrete or asphalt or rock right there.
Oh,
That it would be an
yeah.
additional cost.
I'll have to, let me look at my email and see if budget provided additional.
They're saying 2.5 foot width, 9 foot deep concrete footing.
Yeah, but it doesn't say what it's designed to.
Just want to make sure there wasn't a second piece to it.
I said, Eagles are including a 5-year, $5,000 insurance and warranty on the deal that gets budgeted or not.
Yes, it's in up in the bullet points where it says 5-year parts only warranty. If you want, rather than taking action, I can gather your questions and then go back to one or both and to get additional answers for you if you're not ready to move forward.
Okay, what do we need or want answered before?
For budget signs, I'd like the concrete footer, the design specifications clarified. And then number 2, do they have the same electrical provisions in their bid? So just verify that these guys, what their design standard is for that.
For structural.
Right. And then, are these items that he specified here, I don't see them included anywhere over here. That it complies with the National Electric Code, this was.
Sure, it has to.
Well, it should, but he didn't quote it. I know you gotta have a breaker these days right there at the side of the deal so they can shut it, lock it off, and they can see it.
The only thing that I noticed, there is a billboard on the property there at the Expo Center. Is this going to cover that or be?
It'll be under that.
Oh, under
It
that.
won't be as high as a billboard.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if the concrete or whatever was gonna have to, I can't pull it up from my phone, so I can ask those two questions if that's.
It's gonna be at the same location, the same spot.
No.
as the billboard.
No, there's a little cinder block sign
Yeah.
somewhere near, somewhere there. There's electricity to that sign there, but it's just under, yeah.
On an LED digital sign, I would think they'd be going like 110. It should.
I hope not.
It should be all the
If that's it,
That's the other thing we need to clarify then, is it's 110 volts or 220 volts. What-
I think it does, but on both of them, it says 120 is from what I saw,
But they're 120 volt power.
yeah. In
well, then
the
we
budget
should have
line
that
where it talks about
taken care of
pricing.
with the electricity that's there.
Yeah. Okay, so ask about the structural and the electrical.
Primary things, the breaker at the base of the pole.
I know Eagleford says here they got wind velocities 105 miles per hour. They don't say that on budget, what, I guess that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking her to clarify with them. What design standards did they use to come up with their drill shaft?
I make a motion that we table this until the information that Commissioner Martin has requested to be clarified.
Second. Motion to table by Commissioner Bordeaux, second by Commissioner Martin. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. So we will table it and we will bring it back next Commissioners Court meeting with the questions answered and
One other question, I think on there, Judge, it said Eagleford is good to the end of the month.
what's that?
Yes.
Bid.
Well, you can ask that question, can be asked, well,
Yeah, I can bring it at the next court on the
is there
22nd.
clarification needed for anything on Eagleford or just on electric?
It's good, this bid price is good till March 30th.
Yeah,
God,
We'll have.
we'll have, let's see, what's the
March
next?
22nd is the
22nd,
next court.
yes.
Mhm.
22nd, we'll have it on, so we can have it on that one. Okay. Moving along to agenda item 7, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, discuss and take action on the Peanut Festival to use the courthouse lawn on May the 15th, 2021. The Peanut Festival is going to have their 2020 Peanut Festival May of 2021, and they're requesting that it's just on one day, Saturday, and we always have obliged them by letting them use the courthouse lawn and square. So, and one thing, they're gonna be doing it May 15th, and they're also gonna do it again in October on a regular, scheduled weekend.
Yes, sir. And
But this is
Judge,
the only one that's in question now, because we don't know what's gonna be involved in
Right.
October.
And so, for the May 15th event, we will be having a barbecue cook-off on that Saturday as well. Check-in time for the barbecue teams will be, that Friday evening. So we're asking that the teams arrive no later or no earlier than 4 o'clock on that Friday afternoon. And I would just ask for anyone who's gonna, if we can have employees park elsewhere, maybe from noon on, because we'll have to be out there with tapes in order to kind of get everything situated in the parking lot for the teams. But,
Where's the barbecue cook-off gonna be?
so it's gonna be in the parking lot and in front of Phelps. Is that D Street? I mean, not Phelps, City Hall. And then in our entire parking lot facing City Hall.
Okay, just one question on the barbecue. they better have a firebox, because we really don't want any fires.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
no, there are specific, it's sanctioned by IBCA, so IBCA will be here, everyone's required to have a fire extinguisher, it meet all the standards and so
They
forth.
can't have an open fire.
Yeah.
That'd be in code.
Yeah.
And the commissioners all get free barbecue.
Actually you will, because we'll all be calling everybody out for, we're gonna need tasting judges.
As long as it ain't the chicken.
So,
Okay,
I make a motion, Judge, that we go ahead and approve allowing the Peanut Festival Association to use the courthouse lawn
Second.
on May 15th.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner Verdola, that we allow the Peanut Festival Association to use the courthouse lawn and courthouse square more or less, for their activity and festival. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passed. One thing you don't have to worry about, it's like a ghost down here after.
on Friday afternoon,
anyway.
yeah,
You won't have to worry about blocking anybody in.
Yeah, and I'll let Dawn know, our tax assessor as well, so that way she's aware of it. I think her office is open,
So
so.
they can leave that one road open.
Yeah, that entry and, yeah.
So they are gonna close?
I haven't talked to her because I wanted to wait till Commissioner's Court today, so I'll
On
talk
D
to her.
Street?
Oh,
They're gonna
yeah,
close D Street?
their, city council, or the association is going to city council to request a street closure.
Okay, now they better go to TxDOT, because that's a,
We did, I think the application has already been submitted to TxDOT, we received approval, so now it goes
Oh,
before
okay.
city council.
so that's a state highway.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's move right along to agenda item number 8, Richard L. Jackson County Judge Jeffrey Garcia, partner at Weinberger Grill and Blair and Sampson LLP, discuss and take action on setting aside and voiding tax sale property ID 264092 DB Rios. Jeff?
Real quick, Judge and Commissioners, we had a tax resale back on November 3rd of 2020, and Mr. Rios purchased a property which is just north of here in Floresville on 181, north of the Napa Auto Parts store. Kind of, there's a creek that runs through there, and a big advertising sign that runs in that property. He submitted a bid on that, and it was more than for the minimum bid. And then we were kind of waiting on a disclaimer for him to file with us, which pretty much stated that it was in the floodplain, given it's in the creek. And soon thereafter, I think like a day or two after he submitted that disclaimer to us, he kind of started calling us and saying, hey, I didn't realize that was the property that I wanted. He thought he had purchased the property that was right next to that creek lot. In other words, there was a home on it. And so if you take a look at the maps there, the property that we were selling was 651 181 Street, which is that creek lot. He was under the mistake that he was purchasing the property with that home on it next to it. And so with that said, I told him, look, I don't, first of all, I don't represent you, but my client is Wilson County and the Commissioner's Court. If you're asking them to undo the sale, they have to go to Commissioner's Court. Mr. Rios is here present today if you have any questions for him, but overall, I would say, if you recall back on January 25th, we undid a sale for Mr. Keith Johansson. On that particular, it was a lot harder on that one because the monies had already been distributed out to the taxing entities, to the sheriff's department, to everybody. And so we're still trying to collect those monies to come back and get Mr. Johansson whole on that one. But on this one, after I got wind that Mr. Rios was wanting to back out, I put a pause on the money being dispersed that he had deposited with the district clerk. So if you decide to void the sale and undo it, it's going to be real simple to get his money back, $18,000. It's still in deposit or registry of the court, and that's all that I have.
So the total amount still in deposit?
Correct, yeah, because when I got wind that he was wanting to back out, I just put a pause on us sending the disbursement orders because I knew
Okay.
at some point we would have to talk about it. And of course, there's been a lot of life events between here and past December, and so now we're up to March, and so we finally got it on to the Commissioner's Court. So, but I think it'd be a little easy just to give them back the money. And unfortunately, I've been doing this 15 years, Judge, and I've never had two back-to-back that undid the sales,
Yeah.
and so it's a rarity. And unfortunately, I mean, we can't force somebody that doesn't want the property. So, and the fortunate situation is that the money is there at the district clerk. So if the court decides to undo the sale, it'd be really easy to get the money back.
Okay. Is a signboard on the property itself?
It is.
And so there's no fees or anything that would be incurred because there hasn't been any distribution of any funds?
No.
And what's the next step? This,
So it goes back, so if you undo the sale, you're voiding the deed that was issued into his name, Mr. Rios, and at that point, it goes back into trustee status. So the taxing entities own it in proportion to the amount of taxes it's owed.
and so it's basically, you can't use it for development.
Again, it's just one of the many trustee properties that kind of are in the same situation.
Okay, there's a resolution, back page, undo resolution authorizing setting aside and voiding the tax resale of parcel 26409 and refunding the purchase price. That's what I have no problem with this, and like I said, I thought it was gonna be like Mr. Johansson's where he'd already distributed some of the money, and I was gonna make a provision that anything that Wilson County couldn't recoup, that we didn't refund that, but just that it's all still in the registry of the court, we can refund it in total.
I reached out to Debbie's office and she said that, yeah, she'd go back and look. She's pretty certain that she has it there, but the way I know for certain it's there is that I never went ahead and approved of an order of disbursement for it. So that means it's still there in the registry of the court, waiting to be dispersed.
Well, just in case, I'd like to make the stipulation, anything that Wilson County doesn't recoup, that doesn't get refunded. But anything else goes back to Mr. Rios.
That's fine.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing setting aside and voiding the tax sale for property ID 26409 and refunding the purchase price of $18,000 to DB Rios, provided that there's no other fees that are incurred.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Fowl, that we avoid the tax sale. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so this passes. This one, you'll do this one?
Yes, you can sign that one. And if I may be excused, Judge, I gotta go handle district court for the tax cases.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Take care of that.
Okay. Okay, moving along to agenda item number 9, Bishop L. Jackson County Judge Michelle Mota, Finance Manager. 9A, discuss and possibly approve the submission of the Diesel Emissions Reduction Act, DERA, National Grant Application for Wilson County, Texas. Michelle.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. This grant, this Diesel Emissions Reduction Act, is a federal grant that I recently found. One of the precincts came to me and was asking for more grants to replace vehicles like the TechSmith grant from last year. This is a similar grant. It's just a federal grant, and the cost share is different. I've spoken with you all either via email or by phone a little bit to brief you all on the grant. The cost share for full vehicle replacement is anywhere from 25 to 45%, with the county taking the lion's share of that. So that's a big difference from this grant to the state grant, which was vice versa. It was kind of 80-20, where the state took the lion's share and the county took the 20% share. Similar schedule. We have to replace the vehicle within 24 months of being awarded. There are some extenuating circumstances based on the work plan and the narrative that is submitted that would allow for a 36-month replacement schedule. But I'm sure those are pretty uncommon. And there's no limitations on vehicles. They actually put the whole gamut in there, from marine and locomotives and to Class 7 to Class 8 trucks. I did identify from all the precincts basically the water trucks, those were the oldest. That oldest meaning 2000, 2006 and back. We have some 1994, 1999 assets that could very well be replaced through this grant. So the deadline to apply is March 16th.
Is this grant for particular vehicles or for particular precincts or?
The way the language is that an organization can submit 3 applications. So it would be similar to the Texas Fed grant. We would kind of do it by precinct, or I might do it by class of vehicle, class 7s, and do it that way so that we can comply with that requirement.
If we have the need for a water truck, dump truck, whatever, then this would be handy because they would be paying part of the cost of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
But if we don't need it,
Yes, sir.
then it would be, hey,
The difference, the other difference in the grants is that those were dump truck specific. This can be any equipment. It could be a water truck, it could be a dump truck, whatever.
Could be
whatever we
A
need.
Freightliner.
okay. And I don't know what the needs are, but
Well, I know they need a
they
water
sure help
truck,
fund anything.
and I understand Commissioner Wiley wants a water truck. I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
did speak with Commissioner Wiley personally, and he mentioned his couple water trucks that he had. And they're-
The only thing that Michelle and I talked about it, that I just wanted to make sure commissioners were aware because this would be for the next fiscal year, right, starting in October. As we move forward with not just this, but additional grants that you want her to apply for, and there are county matches, you have to keep in mind that if we accept that is money that we have to budget for, and not knowing what our tax rate is gonna be and how much revenue we're gonna have, it could be up in the air. So I think it's great that we have these grant opportunities, but also keep in mind, if it's not 100% funded, we do have to take that into consideration for budget purposes.
Okay, could we,
And we, as Michelle said, we don't always have to, she can submit the application and then we could figure out what the dollar amount is. We don't have to necessarily accept it once we're awarded, if that's something that
Okay.
is out of our budget.
if it's a needed vehicle, like the water truck for Commissioner Wiley, we can get it.
Commissioner Martin. And Commissioner.
And Commissioner Martin?
Yeah.
Okay. And we use the grant for part of it, can we finance the rest of it? That way it won't be out of the budget all in one year. Because most of the times when we do buy a piece of heavy equipment, it's financed.
Sure, I would imagine so.
Right, I mean,
Depending
the
on
Texas
what our
Vet,
portion is.
correct, the Texas Vet grant is like that as well.
Okay,
Um,
so then it would not have that big of effect on our budget,
Right.
or, excuse me, Commissioner Martin, or
Initially.
whoever's budget.
Mhm.
Okay,
That'd be the smart way to do it, finance the.
So I did call the salesperson that helped collect data and information on the vehicles for the TextVet grant to get a quote on a classification 7 vehicle, which is based on the gross vehicle weight, and a 4,000 gallon water truck class 7 with all the specs. Came in about $136,989. So with the full vehicle replacement, the EPA funding would only cover about 34,000 of that, and then we would be responsible for 102,000. Now,
that's still
There-
more money.
yeah, there are different certifications, and all of this is geared towards reducing emissions and increasing air quality, right? So there are different certifications. That is just the simple EPA certified engine. There are what seems to be more emission reduction type certifications, and those are offered at more of a cost share. The federal government will pick up more, 35%, 45%, and so forth and so on. So I did mention this, and I did share this information with the salesperson, and he's been looking for those different certifications, and I think that's probably gonna be something that's custom. So,
So that will help.
Well, it would help, but it also probably is a more expensive engine, so we
Right.
just have to do an analysis to see,
Right.
you know, if it's another $40,000 or $50,000, but they're
To get
only
a zero
increasing 10 or
tailpipe emission power
15%,
source?
then our cost share may be higher
Sure.
based on that higher engine, so we'll just have to do an analysis on that.
Well,
But I guess, do we need to authorize you to go ahead and apply for the
Yes,
grant?
yes, I'm requesting permission to submit the applications.
Then I'll make a motion to approve submission of the Diesel Emissions Reduction Act, DARA National Grant Application for Wilson County.
Second.
okay, motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola, that we approve the submission of the Diesel Emissions Reduction Act grant. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. There's no opposed. Okay, okay, then let's run right on to 9B. Discuss and approve the submission of the renewal for year 22-23 local public health services grant in the amount of $26,888, administered by the Texas Department of State Health Services Division of Regional and Local Health Services.
Judge and Commissioners, this is a grant for Edwin Baker's office, the fire marshal for the county. My understanding of this grant, we've had this grant for some time now. I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's definitely been at least 2-3 years. Just trying to get it into the mix of the court and get it approved by the court. This grant assists the county by covering some of Mr. Baker's and Mr. Juke's salary. And for the new fiscal year 22-23, they are offering $26,888, which is the same as last year. And this is just for their salary to provide public health services and all the services and activities that they currently perform.
Okay, so we're good for year 2021 and 21-22?
Yes.
Okay.
This would be the next.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Second.
second by Commissioner Martin, that we accept the, let's see, the submission. For this motor to go out and submit for this grant. To keep funding our health and public safety office.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that carries, so moving right along. Agenda item number 10, Leanne Hoshak, for the diesel, okay. Okay, 10A, utility permit number 634, Summer Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 3, County Road 332, review and approve. This is just a road board, they're just gonna supply, just to get water across the road to one residence? Or
Yes, sir. As far as I understand, and they're not really being that specific, because there's not an numeric for the county road, I mean, it's just saying county road.
Okay. I think they're not far from the creek there. Mr. Perdola, it's yours.
I make a motion that we approve the permit for SS Water to do the road board.
Second.
County Road 332.
Motion by Commissioner Perdola, second by Commissioner Martin, we approve the permit. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay. Okay, now we're moving to 10B, non-standard class and variances. Okay, 2355 County Road 120, Precinct 1, Montgomery, discuss and take action.
Okay, and Ms. Montgomery has submitted this before the Development Review Committee last week. She's requesting to divide this property. I think it's about 3.32 acres, like that, 3 point. Yeah. And she's gonna be selling the part that fronts on FM 1303. And then there's an existing mobile home on that property, that part of it, but she's gonna be moving the mobile home onto the, oh, I think it says 2 acres, but it didn't add up correctly when Leanne and I were going over it. It's still it came out to like 1.578, something like that. And the septic that's on the lot that she will be selling stays with that lot, and the purchase buyer who buys that lot will be made aware.
Okay. This got a favorable,
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion to approve the plat for 2355 County Road 120, Montgomery.
motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Lagola, we approve the request for non-starter plan. Okay, is there any more discussion on this? What? 2 acres at 1.57, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on this?
No, I spoke with Leanne on this,
Okay.
so I'm good with it.
Okay, because it says 3.27 acres and you had this other, right?
And I think they were still trying to reconcile, and I didn't bring my notes, but I think she had it figured out by Friday afternoon.
Okay.
As to what the exact division was.
And I think they reduced the 2 acres to 1.7.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, it carries. Okay, 10C. RV Park Lodging Development, Marcelina Cabins, discuss and take action.
This is a IDP from Marceline Cabins. It's next to Cascade Crossroads Control. Highway 987?
It's 97 East. What all are they doing?
Good question. They're gonna be adding RV spots and small cabins. Nathan with Intrepid is here representing the owner.
Okay.
There's gonna be RV slots, and there's a few cabins existing out there at the moment.
So, yes, what they'll be doing is adding some access roads on the inside of the property, just for the internal access, some RV spaces and a few cabins, and that is to go along with what had been existing on the property as approved already, permitted, which would be the cabins that are right there in the middle that are labeled 1 through 12, and then I believe 13 and 14 as well.
Okay, so now all of this is being added.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of road is this gonna be?
That'll be a base road. It'll be up to specs, but it'll be like, it's not gonna be asphalt, it's just gonna be like a base road.
I guess one of the big issues that I had, Judge, being on the committee and reviewing this, and no offense to the public, because they got caught in the middle of the whole thing. we've been dealing with these people probably, what, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. All of this is installed already. All this has been put in. And except for the pond. And, you know, I guess the problem is, we don't know if they built the road to specs, or if the offset for each of the RV parks, or even the septic has been put in.
Were y'all in on any of the, when they were developing this part?
No.
Y'all weren't?
No.
Till after the fact?
Yes.
Yes.
And we've been dealing with that, since I've been in office, we've been dealing with quite a bit of non-compliance.
A long time, and, you know, now, you know, it doesn't show you on the plan what's existing and what's not, because it's all built already, it's all there. That's the problem I have, you
So
know,
what are they asking us to do? Accept it into the county?
accept it now.
So what we're requesting is that it is permitted, as designed on here. So then after that, if it is not up to, the designs, they have to go in and change it, like fix it, bring it back up to code, as per designs.
Have you inspected any of it yet?
We just did obtained data on what was there.
In what was there?
Yes.
But y'all are gonna go back and look at the roads and see if they're up to spec?
Yes.
It's gonna be up to the commissioners, that precinct, and or the county engineer to go out and do the inspection on it with it.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, then it falls back into the Mr. Baker would follow the county attorney's office and it would be from there, but that's, like I said, that could be long-term court battle, and he's still making money on it.
And if we don't approve it?
We can be shut down. He's not in compliance.
I think on the roads, we need a depth and density on the roads, at minimum, to see how much base is there, and if it passes the density test.
Right.
Then are they gonna be required to chip seal it, or to gravel it?
No, it can be base, it can be,
In an RV park, yeah.
it can be base.
I would like to suggest holding off until y'all can inspect it and say at least the roads are to spec.
So the septic was never inspected by?
The septic has not been installed.
Well, it has not been installed.
Well, how is
Well,
septic-
you're talking about the aerobic.
The aerobic septic,
The
there
aerobic
is
is
existing
not.
septic, the aerobic septic, has been submitted for, the application for it has been submitted, and it's been approved, but they have not.
They haven't done it.
So how these RVs that are cabins that are out here now, that they put in, or they not hooked up to no kind of septic? If you're saying it's not in service,
They're not supposed to be,
well, they're living out there.
if they're not,
Well, they could be doing above ground holding tanks in the RV.
Well, the thing is, the dump station's not out there yet, right?
right.
So, I mean, if they are using the holding tanks on the RVs, they'll have to pull out and go somewhere else. I mean,
Or have one of the septic pumpers come out.
yeah, they can do that.
I think we need some more information on it.
I'm not real good, I can just to let you know, me and one of the other board members voted against approving it the other day.
I think at this point, it seems to me that it included with this application, if we can, I think I would like to see a report on the current status and what their plans are. Basically, if the engineer says, hey, everything is in compliance, they get the density test, the depth, base, everything, and make sure it's there with all the road readies, meet traffic design standards, those kind of things.
I mean, talking to
So-
the, wait, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So basically, this would be like considered, like, if it was a new subdivision being installed, it would be approved, and then, like, the roads would be inspected, after completion. And then, so this would basically be, like, they skipped a step. They didn't get the plat approved, the subdivision approved, they built the road, but it still would have to be inspected to make sure that it was good before it was, got the final approval.
Are we gonna get a bond or a letter of credit with this?
Not with
Not
the,
with this.
an IDP is pretty much, and I've really discussed this quite a bit with Leanne. An IDP is a glorified development permit. We don't have anything in our infrastructure regulations holding their feet to the fire on the roads.
Okay, my next question is, like, you know, we don't have no legal counsel here, or the other day, you know, if we go ahead and approve this, and then they go out and do an inspection, and it doesn't meet our specifications, then what grounds do we have? Legally. And this gentleman is still making money, because those RVs and cabins are there, they're out there now. All this new stuff is in. If you drive out there, it's all in.
How many
All of it.
spaces, do they have all those spaces
Yes.
taken? There's somebody in every one of those? Okay.
That's where I have a big issue. He's making money on this, and he just been avoiding our, you know, Mr. Baker and Mr. Hochek.
Well, my deal is, okay, he's there. I'd like to see at least that this stuff is up to our specifications before we approve it. Make them do, we didn't let them do this and they did it.
I mean, I know they've been back and forth, and he's been saying he was gonna do this and do that. Like I say, I know at least 2 years.
Have they hired y'all to inspect the roads or?
No. All they did was hire them to design this.
Okay.
And what he's
And after
already
the fact,
installed.
he had to-
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I'd like to, I'd not approve it until they come back with some kind of,
yeah, I was gonna suggest, I think what seems to be appropriate here is to table it, and it sounds like we need to have some discussion with the county attorney's office in regards to how we should move forward with this. So I'll make a motion to table, the RV Park Project Development Marcelina's Cabins.
motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola to table this until we can get some advice from the county attorney. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
So this is tabled. So, moving right along to agenda item 11, Eva S. Martinez, County Clerk, minutes. And we've got
Yes,
them right
sir.
here.
I have them handed those out, and they have been properly reviewed.
Lick my finger to turn the page, but it doesn't work with mine.
You can, yeah. Go somewhere like HEB, how they get those bags apart.
Yeah. You have to go to the produce section, get a little water off, get the bag.
Sit down, or pull your mask off, you lick your finger. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Perdola,
Second?
second by Commissioner Martin, we accept the minutes of February 8th and 22nd. Is there any discussion, questions, additions, deletions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay, carried. Okay, moving right along to agenda item number 12, Jan Harlow County Treasurer Financial Report. I see no Jan, so there's no financial report. Agenda item number 13, Jalen T. Botter, Human Resource General Specialist, and she said she had no report this time.
Nothing today.
Okay. And so now we're going to agenda item number 14, Brenda Trevino, County Auditor, Bills and Financial Report.
Commissioners, I do have a financial report. It's an internal audit that I did at the Wilson County Treasurer's Office for your review. And it is quite lengthy, so I'm just going to read the first part narrative. This is an internal audit of the Wilson County Treasurer's Office, audit of delinquent bank reconciliations dated today, March 8, 2021. The enclosed report presents the results of an audit over the Wilson County Treasurer's Office, specifically the bank reconciliations for the month of October 2020 through January 2021. This audit was a result of the Wilson County Auditor and Wilson County Commissioners Court not receiving any financial reports by the County Treasurer since August 31st, 2020. Per Local Government Code Section 114.026, County Treasurers report to Commissioners Court at regular term at least once a month at a regular term of Commissioners Court. The County Treasurer shall make a detailed report of 1, money received and dispersed, 2, debts due to and owed by the county, and 3, all other proceedings in the Treasurer's Office. On February 11, 2021, I sent an email to Ms. Harlow, County Treasurer, requesting all delinquent bank reconciliation reports, along with statements of cash positions for all checking, tax pool, and CD accounts, as well as the tax pool monthly activity report for the months in question, due to me no later than Thursday, March the 4th. A copy of the email's request and Ms. Hartlow's response is attached to this report. The objective of this request was an effort to provide Wilson County Commissioners Court with current and accurate financial statements reflecting the financial position of Wilson County. A copy of this report has been given to Jan Harlow, Wilson County Treasurer, and Tom Caldwell, Wilson County Attorney. And I will just split through. I won't read all of the detail. As you can see, it's 78 pages, but I will flip through the conclusion. Based on the results and findings of this audit, it's clear that Ms. Harlow has not met the requirements of the statutory duty of the county treasurer. Not only did Ms. Harlow not submit financial reports to Commissioners Court each month as required, she also failed to comply with my request as county auditor by not completing the financial statements by March the 4th in accordance with Local Government Code Section 114.003. And as county auditor, I'm respectfully requesting that Commissioner notes and addresses the serious nature of these offenses. And so all of the details are there.
Thank you. This is an issue that we have been made familiar with. And actually, we would like to have our county attorney here.
Yeah, it's not an action item for today. I just wanted to bring my audit report to you for your discussion on another time. Do you have any questions regarding the findings? At this point, I don't have the bank reconciliations done because through the course of the finding, there are lots of areas that need to be corrected in order for my office to get the balance booked. So I'm hopeful that maybe by March 22nd court, we may have better numbers for you, or some numbers for you.
This is also keeping you from doing your job as well.
It is, Commissioner. It is. And next for me is our bills for Commissioners Court approval. I've got a total of $185,318.28. No line in your report today.
Is this
you hear me? I said no lying in your report today, so we're not trying to hide anything.
Okay.
Our printer was acting up.
I got it. That's not gonna be a
Does this include the tech share
Yes.
that was in question?
Yes, you'll see quite a bit, I think there were 35, under the county, district court. There were like 35 attorney vouchers, that were in tech share, that had been unpaid, and so they are included in this go around.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Motion by Commissioner Fowle.
Second.
Sorry, Judge.
Second by
Is there a first
Commissioner
and a
Warren.
second?
Is there any more questions or additions or deletions or anything? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There is none, so this passes.
Never had one. Do we hang the whole thing or just?
Okay, moving right along to agenda item number 15 at 9.